So what if I told you that in our lifetime, we could literally cure aging, merge our minds with a super intelligent AI, and completely change what it even means to be human? Now, it sounds like pure science fiction, I know, but for the inventor and futurist Ray Kurzweil, it's not a question of if, but when. So let's dive into this really provocative idea from his book, The Singularity Is Near.
To really wrap our heads around this, we have to start right here, with this classic line from Arthur C. Clarke. Because honestly, a lot of what we're about to talk about, it's going to sound a whole lot like magic. At the heart of it all is this one big idea, the singularity. So what is it? Well, Kurzweil defines it as this future point in time when technological growth becomes so fast, so explosive, that it just creates this rupture in the fabric of human history. We're not talking about just another cool invention. This is an intelligence explosion that changes the game completely and irreversibly. Okay, so what's the engine behind such an incredible prediction? Kurzweil argues it all comes down to a single, really powerful concept: the law of accelerating returns. And right here, this is the key. There's a fundamental mismatch in how we see the world. Our brains, they're wired for linear thinking. We expect steady, step-by-step progress. But technology doesn't work that way. It follows an exponential curve. Its power literally doubles at regular intervals. And this mismatch between how we think things will go and how they actually go is why the future is going to be a lot weirder and a lot more shocking than most of us expect. To make this idea of exponential growth feel a little more real, Kurzweil uses this great, simple analogy. Just imagine a pond, and on this pond, a single lily pad appears, and it's programmed to double in size every single day. For the first few weeks, you'd barely notice it. The pond just looks empty. Even on day 29, just one day before the end, the lily pad is only covering half the pond. If you were thinking in a straight line, you'd look at it and go, we've got plenty of time. And then, bam! On day 30, that final doubling happens, and the entire pond is suddenly completely covered. The change feels abrupt, almost out of nowhere, but it was baked in from the very beginning. Kurzweil's big argument is that for a whole bunch of our technologies, we're living on day 29. And here's the thing, this isn't just a theory. It's not a fairy tale. You can see it in the data. For decades, the amount of computing power you can buy for a single dollar has been doubling, on average, every 18 months. Think about that. That relentless, predictable, exponential doubling is the engine driving everything that's coming.
So how does this acceleration actually play out in the real world? Kurzweil says it's going to happen across three massive, overlapping technological waves. He calls them the GNR revolutions. First, you've got G for genetics, where we finally master our own biological software. Then comes N for nanotechnology, which is all about rebuilding our world and our bodies from the atom up. And finally, R for robotics, or more accurately, strong AI, an intelligence that will eventually leave ours in the dust. The genetics revolution is already getting started. You hear about it all the time. Technologies like RNA interference that can switch off bad genes, or using cloning to grow replacement organs from your own cells. The end game here isn't just curing diseases, it's about moving past the limits of what he calls our version 1.0 biology and radically extending not just our lifespan, but our health span. Okay, next up is nanotechnology. And this is where things start to get really, really wild. I'm talking about tiny, cell-sized robots, nanobots, cruising through our bloodstream, hunting down cancer cells and pathogens. Imagine nanofactories that can assemble pretty much any physical object you want, molecule by molecule. It's about fundamentally rebuilding our physical world. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the robotics revolution, or strong AI. Kurzweil's point is that the moment an AI reaches the same level of intelligence as a human, it's going to blow right past us almost instantly. And why? Well, machines can share knowledge perfectly, at the speed of light. An AI could get a PhD-level education in a few weeks, then combine our knack for pattern recognition with a machine's godlike speed and memory. So what happens when you get all three of these revolutions happening at once? Well, this is where we get the most profound shift of all. We start to merge with the very machines that we've created. This quote from the book it nails it.
This isn't about creating some smart AI over there, separate from us. It's about us, humans of biological origin, getting the freedom to finally upgrade our fragile, limited bodies.
What does that even look like? Well, imagine nanobots connecting your brain directly to the cloud, giving you instant access to unbelievable amounts of information and computing power. Or picture augmented reality displays in your contact lenses, laying data right over the world you see. Your own thinking would become a hybrid, a seamless mix of your biological brain and this vast non-biological computer. We'd literally expand our own minds.
And that, of course, leads to the big one, the really fundamental question. If a huge part of your thoughts, your memories, your intelligence isn't inside your biological skull anymore, are you still human? I mean, what does that word even mean at that point? This takes us into the final and, frankly, the most mind-bending part of this whole journey, trying to even imagine what life would be like after the singularity. I just love this quote from Werner Vinge. It gets to the very heart of what post-singularity life could be. See, immortality isn't about being static. A mind that never changes would just be a boring repeating loop. To live forever means you have to become vastly more than what you were. In this kind of future, you could be living in a virtual reality that's completely indistinguishable from the real thing. You could upload your mind file, a complete backup of your consciousness, your memories, your skills. You could even experience life through someone else's senses. The ultimate destiny, Kurzweil suggests, is that this expanding intelligence just keeps going, spreading out from Earth to saturate all the matter and energy in the universe. And that leaves us with the ultimate question, the one that really echoes through the whole book. If you're constantly changing and your essence can be copied, are you just a pattern of information? If all the atoms that make you up are constantly being replaced, are you just the stuff? It forces you to ask, who am I? It's a question about the very nature of consciousness, and it's one the singularity might force all of us to answer.